Hello, good morning. It is the 4th of February, 2022. It's a wonderful Thursday. We have a lot of news for you. Everything from Norway with a new startup, Detroit with some numbers from Ford. The IIHS also makes a new ruling on automatic emergency braking. And I think we might have a new Porsche in town. All of that and more is to come. I've had my coffee today. Roll the intro and welcome to Daily Car News. First thing is first, Norway has a new startup. A Norwegian startup called Fresco has unveiled, I guess, their goals for a new electric car. It's called the Fresco XL. It's starting at around $100,000, dual motor all-wheel drive, but that's really all the specs that we have today. They are aiming for 1,000 kilometers of range, and so far the only company we've seen to at least mention that number is Mercedes-Benz with the EQXX from a couple of months ago. And the weird thing about this car is it looks like an Apple Magic Mouse lifted and on wheels. They're looking to see if they can fit 7 to 8 people inside and have the seats fold flat so you can camp in it whenever you'd like to. I guess it's going to be built in Norway for, I guess, Norwegians, so it'll probably be cold weather tested. But that's about it. That's all we know. This is a new startup, and I guess we all know how startups fare in the car industry. Not usually the friendliest industry for startups, but best of luck to you guys. I'd love to see what you can do, and let's see if we can get another 1,000-kilometer car into the books. Now, speaking of books, Renault has sold 115,000 EVs in 2021. Battery EVs are 7.6% of the total passenger car sales globally for the company in 2021, but 14.3% in Europe. Now that's down from 2020 of about 118,000, but it's up from 2019 of about 61,000. So you can see the growth here of electric vehicles just over the last couple of years. It's really amazing to see how Europe especially, 14.3% has sort of embraced the electric car, right? And more will come, and I guess we'll see, what kind of electric vehicles will make splashes down the road. Hyundai has sold 989 IONIQ 5s in January. Isn't that cool? 989 in January. I think they sold about 120, 115 in December. So that puts them over 1,000 in total sales for the IONIQ 5. This is a pretty in-demand car. They've sold 2% of their total volume right now. This is the first 1,000. Many more is to come, and we're going to see. Ford has gone over their 2021 numbers. They've sold a lot of cars. In 2021, they sold 143,531 total car sales. 71,000 of this was trucks, 66,000 were SUVs, and 13,169 electrified vehicles were sold. This is everything from hybrids, plug-in hybrids, to full-on battery EVs. This is up 167.2% versus January of 2021, so that is great improvement. And 2,370 Mustang Mach-E models were sold in the US in the last month. That's awesome. They are 27.3% of that is the Mach-E GT performance models, or about 647 models sold. So Ford had a big year and big months ahead. The Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, those guys, are releasing a new night test and night rating for automatic emergency braking. Now, if you don't know what automatic emergency braking is, it's a system for your car that brakes automatically in emergencies. It's very useful and very, it's tested and it works on well-lit roads, but there are issues when it comes to nighttime driving. They say there's little to no difference, they being the IIHS, there is little to no difference between what's happening on the road at night if you are using AEB versus not. It's not as productive and it's not as robust. So they're going to be instituting a new test that'll be a part of their new criteria for the 2023 Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards. Right now they're saying that most pedestrian crashes happen during the day, which makes sense, people are out during the day, but most pedestrian fatalities happen at night. So that is a thing that we're going to be working on, and I hope to see that things improve. Automatic emergency braking is very important, if you couldn't tell by the name of the system, and IIHS is looking to see if they can help lead the way for passenger and pedestrian safety. Mazda, a car company that has a spot in my heart because of the MX5, and because of the MX5, the Configurator is live for 2022. Now, the ND Miata, the newest model Miata, has been out for some time, but they're sort of changing things here and there as we progress through model years. In 2022, we can expect 3 trims: the Sport, the Club, and the Grand Touring. The base model, Mazda Miata MX5, will come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay standard, and also smart city brake support. That sounds a lot like automatic emergency braking, so I hope they get some testing done with the IIHS on that. What's weird is the gray and the blue models, the gray and the blue paints, are available for the mid-level only. So you have to get the Club to get gray or blue if that color is what you are into. Now, you can also upgrade, $4,500 upgrade, the mid-level trim, and you can get Brembo brakes and BBS Recaro seats and wheels. So that's very cool to see. $4,500 though is a lot. And the GT model, the Grand Touring model, you get adaptive front headlights, heated leather seats, and a built-in Mazda navigation system. All wonderful to see. Keep the MX-5 alive. I am all for it. Jaguar and Land Rover have added Alexa support to their cars. If you have the PV Pro or Touch Pro sort of infotainment system, they're going to go ahead and automatically beam in from the satellites, Alexa. Alexa is here, and Alexa is here to stay. Navigation controls, music choices, and calendars and more will be available through Alexa, so you can control it through Alexa. And then you can also, hey Alexa, check if my car doors are locked. That sort of thing will be available through Amazon and through your Jaguar Land Rover vehicles. The BMW 7 Series has been spotted testing in the winter on the streets somewhere in Europe. We don't really know where, but the 7 Series is out there on the road. This is the most luxurious, the biggest BMW sedan available. It's still under camo, but not the most sort of aggressive camo, so you can see more of the body lines. To me, it reminds me a lot of like the Chrysler 300, Bentley, the Bentley Flying Spur, that sort of shape, sort of bulbous and muscular, if you will. The top spec i70, which we are expecting to come around later this year, could have up to 650 horsepower with a dual motor all-wheel drive system. That is the electric, of course. Hybrid models are also going to be available. We're assuming about 560 horsepower for those. And of course, BMW hasn't committed to full gas, or hasn't committed to full electric yet, so we can expect gas and diesel models to follow. We're going to be expecting this later this year to be announced in 2022 or in 2023. Don't hold your breath just yet. It'll be a little while. This is going to be a little weird. If you are into Ferraris, you're going to want to sit down. And if you are into hearing things pronounced correctly, you're also going to want to sit down. I'm just a meat and potatoes kind of guy from Chicago. The Ferrari Purosangue SUV will enter production. Now, this is Ferrari's competitor to the Lamborghini Urus, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the Aston Martin DBX. The Ferrari Purosangue is here, and they're beginning to produce it, and it'll be on the streets in 2023. This will be replacing the GTC for Lusso, if I remember correctly, and that comes in a V8 and V12 variants. Now, Ferrari is saying, hey, this is still a Ferrari. This is still something unique and exciting. And it's not an SUV. It's not a sport utility vehicle. According to Ferrari, this is a Ferrari utility vehicle. How Ferrari is that? How Ferrari is that? That's incredible. I guess, I can't wait to see it. Ferrari, send one over, But the Purosangue is just around the corner. Get yourselves ready and put your Ferrari keys in your pockets. That doesn't make any sense. There you go. Speaking of Ferrari's arch nemesis, Porsche, the 911 has been spotted testing in the snow because they love the snow. And what we're seeing is maybe we're going to see a naturally aspirated 911 just around the corner. For a couple of things, we're not seeing any turbo vents, and the exhausts look like the exhausts on the Porsche Cayman GT4. And they're sort of in the middle, you know, in the thing. And that sort of leads a lot of people to say, hey, that might be naturally aspirated. All 911s right now have twin turbo flat sixes, except for like one or two different models at the top. But if we do see a turbo or a naturally aspirated 911, we could expect it in the low 400 horsepower range, you know, maybe all-wheel drive. But right now, Porsche, of course, isn't going to say anything. They're not talking. This might debut later in 2022 or out in 2023. We're not going to see anything until then. But, you know, don't hold your breath. If you are in the mood for a naturally aspirated 911, I guess do hold your breath. It should be here soon. I'm excited to see this. I love turbos. I drive a turbo car, but there is nothing like the scream and the voice of a naturally aspirated engine. So thank you so much for joining me today on Daily Car News. If you'd like to reach out, our socials are down below. Send me an email at gary@outofspecstudios.com or tweet us online @_Daily Car News. I'm at Gary Fasalvo. If you want to reach out, if you have any tips on what's going on in the car industry, make sure to give us a shout. We'll see you tomorrow on Daily Car News.